When people ask me if dairy is healthy, I have to say in almost all cases to avoid it, especially pasteurized dairy. It's toxic for our system, causes inflammation leading to pain, mucus, sickness, and even disease. Now there are a few exceptions and I'm going to get to those, but to start with, the most important reason to avoid it is because 75% of people are lactose intolerant and many of them don't even know it. Now this will cause digestive issues and all sorts of other problems like acne, loss of energy, weight gain, diabetes, loss of sleep, and other diseases, including an increased rate of cancer. Now to start with, I want to make a clear distinction between raw organic dairy that people used to be able to get from local farmers many years ago versus the pasteurized dairy that's on our supermarket shelves and in our markets today that I would never recommend for anyone under any circumstances because it's horrible for our body, the cows being tortured in these factory farms, and the environment, which I'd show you a video of, but I just assume you keep watching this because we've all seen that. Now this even goes for many of the farms that are considered organic and many that are considered grass-fed as well. Now one of the main problems we have with modern dairy is that it's full of hormones. And the reason that is because since cows only produce milk when they have a calf to feed, what they need to do in order to get the milk is not only take the baby calf away, causing tremendous stress on the mother cow, contaminating the milk, but also keep the cow on sex hormones or pregnant for their entire life so that they could lactate unnaturally for humans. And when you consume this dairy, you're not only getting these hormones, but a significant amount of the sex hormones, estrogen and progesterone. Now we know that an increased exposure to estrogen increases your risk of cancer, and dairy accounts for 60 to 80% of estrogens consumed by humans today. Now this is just another aspect of abuse that you promote when purchasing dairy from these farms, but they also cause many problems for us. It may be a contributing factor in girls going into early onset puberty as young as ages 6 or 7 and other hormonal problems. Other things to watch out for here are conventional meats and BPA from things like bottled water. Now these are also the same hormones that produce and stimulate acne, potential weight gain, and depression. Next is the myth that milk actually causes stronger bones. In the largest study, Dr. Walter Willett found that not only did milk not increase bone density or strengthen bones, but in fact it may increase bone fractures by 50% because of the calcium leaching effect. This is partially because milk is an acidifying animal protein. And what that means is it creates an acidic pH in our body. And in order to regulate that, our body uses calcium. And unfortunately, the best place to get this from is our bones. Now, it's been shown that the countries with the lowest rate of dairy consumption also have the lowest bone fracture rates and osteoporosis rates, and the opposite is true. The highest dairy consuming countries have the highest rates of osteoporosis and fracture rates. And if you notice, those ads that used to say milk promotes strong bones are gone because there's no proof that it does. In order to protect you for strong bones, the best things that you can do is have vitamin D from the sun, as well as leafy green vegetables like kale, spinach and broccoli, as well as seaweed and sardines are much better sources of calcium. Next, unfortunately, is cancer. In order to make much more milk than they naturally could, conventional cows are given hormones RBST and RBGH. These causes udder infections, which is why you might have heard of there being pus in the milk. And then to stop this, what they do is give them antibiotics. Now these hormones have been linked to many different types of cancer, and studies have shown that the intake of dairy can increase prostate cancer in men by 30 to 50%. This is just some of the reasons why these hormones are illegal in many other countries. Now, drinking milk also increases our body's production of IGF-1, or insulin-like growth factor 1, which is a known cancer promoter, and what some call a fuel cell for any types of cancers. The medical world says IGF-1 is a key factor in the rapid growth and proliferation of breast, prostate, and colon cancers, and suspect that it will likely be found to promote all cancers. It's directly absorbed into the bloodstream, particularly in infants. Now the FTC and the USDA looked into the science behind these milk does the body good ads, and what they found is that milk does not benefit sports performance, has no evidence that it helps against osteoporosis, that dairy is linked to prostate cancer, it may be linked to heart disease, that it's bad for 75% of the people who are lactose intolerant, it aggravates irritable bowel syndrome, And conventional milk causes allergies, sinus issues, ear infections, type 1 diabetes, chronic constipation, and anemia in children. Pasteurization today allows for cows to be handled in many unsanitary and inhumane ways because the milk is just going to be boiled at high heats in the end. Now this kills the bacteria, but it also kills the enzymes, probiotics, and many of the nutrients that are in the milk. It's also bad because your body knows what to do with good bacteria and it knows what to do with bad bacteria, but it doesn't know what to do with dead bacteria that the pasteurization causes. So it often sits and sours and ferments in your gut, which causes your body to use a lot of nutrients as well as enzymes to get this out of your system, which is why pasteurized milk has been shown to lead to nutritional deficiencies. Next is homogenization. And this is a high pressure process that takes fat down from large particles into smaller particles so that they stay suspended, giving an even consistency. This is also used in other foods like peanut butter, and it causes two major problems in your body. First, fats that are subjected to high heat oxidize, which means they become rancid. And when you consume rancid fats, what happens is it causes all sorts of digestive problems in your body, number one for your liver and other organs, as well as many of the allergies today that didn't exist years ago. And you could see my video on cooking oils for more of the problems rancid fats cause and how to avoid them. Second problem is that after homogenization, fats that have been made smaller can get through your intestinal wall. And worse than having food in your blood, this then allows fat-borne toxins like lead, dioxins, antibiotics, hormones, and more to get into your organs. This leads to many other problems like inflammation, joint pain, and allergic reactions. The consumption of homogenized products have been linked to higher rates of cancer, heart disease, and infections, particularly ear infection. Now this goes for all pasteurized dairy, including skim milk, cheese, yogurt, ice cream, as well as organic pasteurized milk and lactose-free or enzyme-enriched milks as well. Now I know that's going to cause all sorts of confusion for people who are lactose intolerant drinking this thinking they're doing themselves a favor. But let's just look at the ingredients of these lactose-free or enzyme-enriched milks. And the first one you have is pasteurized milk. Now, what we know already is that allows the farmers to do whatever they want to the animals, such as hormones, antibiotics, poor treatment of animals, and therefore putting stress hormones into the milk and then you drinking all that as well. Second ingredient is sugar, which we know is a toxin. Next is often carrageenan, which also can cause digestive problems. Vitamin D2, which is a blocker of vitamin D3, and the one you really need that comes from the sun. And often other ingredients that I also don't like, so I would avoid those at all costs. Now, my suggestion with regard to dairy is eliminate it for a 2-week trial period and see how things change for you in just a couple of days. That means milk, cheeses, yogurt, ice cream, as well as the little bit of cream that you're putting in your coffee, because people that I work with that have done this have told me amazing stories of how things change for them in just a couple of days and they feel great. They have more energy, their skin clears up, they have weight loss and inflammation loss, and digestive problems often go away that they didn't expect and have little to no gas, as well as better sleep, and often they stop snoring. Yes, that's often a big surprise because snoring is often the result of undigested food still in your body. Now, there are many other factors like smoking and other things, but if you want to stop snoring, getting a clean diet is a huge leap in the right direction. So that means getting off wheat and gluten, as well as dairy and other processed foods, and it can often help to eliminate that. Now, all other dairy and non-dairy creamers, powdered or otherwise, are also terrible for you, as well as often flammable. Now, these are not cream at all, but a synthetic combination of chemicals, oils, sugars, and milk products including GMO high fructose corn syrup, which cause liver problems and weight gain, and also have synthetic trans fats and natural flavors, which allows them to put all sorts of things in it that are bad for your body, like MSG. Now, I know people are going to say, well, I need to have my cream in my coffee or something like that, and the reason they have that problem is because milk have opiates in it, which makes you feel addicted to them. But after a couple of days, if you stop doing that, you'll no longer have that craving or problem. So, and if you want, you can see my video on how to make your coffee healthy, and I would go with black and no sugar. But to flavor it, and there are many different options there like nutmeg, Ceylon cinnamon, as well as vanilla. Now, for non-dairy replacements, you can see my videos on how to make coconut milk, hemp milk, and almond milk. And I would avoid commercial brands on those because there are many ingredients I don't like in there either, but they are very easy to make, as you'll see. Now in part 2, you'll see more alternatives and exceptions to the no dairy diet that I eat, including a fermented food and a great ice cream that I know you're gonna like. So for more videos on health and wellness, don't forget to subscribe, and I hope this is helpful for you. Good luck.